Surviving a deadly demon attack, our boy Aaron doesn't give up. Armed with a recommendation letter, he arrives at the legendary Demon Academy. Overwhelmed with joy, he sheds tears at the academy gates. But his excitement is cut short when nature calls, forcing him to desperately sprint toward the nearest restroom. In his blind panic, he trips and crashes right into a girl freshening up. Surrounded by stunned stares, he finally realizes his fatal mistake. This is an all-girls school. Before he can even explain, the furious girls show him no mercy. Beaten up and photographed in his most humiliating moment, his dream school life is instantly ruined. Despite the disastrous start, the academy's higher-ups observe him from the shadows, knowing this unique male student might just be their secret weapon. Covered in bruises, our boy is dragged to the principal's office. To help him adapt, the cunning principal assigns him to the elite dorm 101, much to Mina's absolute outrage. Forced to be his guide, Mina makes her disgust crystal clear. She deliberately speeds ahead, leaving our exhausted guy struggling with his heavy luggage just to keep her in sight. Arriving at the dorm, they are greeted by the cheerful manager, Bonnie. She leads him to his new roommate chaotic storage closet. But honestly, he's just glad to finally rest. While cleaning his messy new nest, Aaron accidentally uncovers a stash of forgotten girls' underwear just as Bonnie walks in. Thankfully, she finds his panicked reaction totally hilarious. Night falls, and while a roommate enjoys a relaxing bath, our boy wakes up needing the toilet again. Half asleep, he wanders toward the bathroom, completely unaware of the awkward crisis awaiting him. Stumbling into the bathroom at night, our boy accidentally interrupts his roommate's bath. He tries hiding on the ceiling, but his cover is quickly blown, leading to an incredibly awkward standoff. After a night of absolute chaos, our boy just wants some sleep. But before he can even close his eyes, his blue-haired roommate bursts in, confronting him over all the ridiculous misunderstandings. Welcoming his first day of school with massive dark circles, our boy bumps into his gentle mentor, Emma. Seeing him look completely drained, she is utterly speechless. Guided by Emma, our boy finally makes his way to Class A. As the only male contractor in the academy, his mere presence instantly sparks waves of gasps and whispers among the girls. After a nerve-wracking introduction, our boy tries to sit down quietly, only to find his seat is right next to his rival, Mina. While they glare at each other, the situation escalates again. The classroom door swings open as the fierce new teacher, Hannah, makes her grand entrance. To establish dominance, she immediately unleashes a terrifying phantom aura, freezing the entire class in fear. Amidst the terrified silence, Hannah walks straight up to our boy, sharply evaluating him. Staring down this intensely strict mentor, he instantly knows his school life is about to become a living hell. Our boy examines the special contract card from Hannah, and the whole class loses their minds. It's the first ever attributeless beast in history, leaving everyone absolutely speechless. The combat training kicks off immediately. Under the curious gaze of the girls, our boy nervously prepares to face the top-tier prodigy, Mina, focusing hard to summon his own beast. With a flash of green light, a seemingly weak slime makes its debut. Unimpressed by the cute blob, Mina shows no mercy and summons a fierce fire beast to end the fight quickly. Just as the fiery attack is about to hit, our boy's slime completely loses control. Instead of dodging, it erupts with bizarre power, launching tentacles to forcefully engulf Mina's fire beast. A massive energy burst blinds everyone in the arena. As the smoke clears, the crowd is stunned to see that Mina's beast has incredibly evolved into its second stage through this force fusion. Though the beast quickly drops back to stage 1, this bizarre event completely ignites Hannah's fanatic interest. Seeing a furious Mina staring him down, our boy can only sweat, realizing his peaceful academy days are officially over. Morning breaks in the infirmary, as the girls are still resting. Suddenly, our boy wakes up in a cold sweat from a tentacle-filled nightmare, instinctively grabbing the wrist of the girl next to him. Realizing it's Mina, he panics and begs for mercy. But his poor choice of words only makes the misunderstanding worse, and Mina's terrifyingly gentle smile sends shivers down his spine. Despite his desperate cries for help, he can't escape physical justice. With a scream, Mina blasts him away for being a pervert, while Hannah casually enjoys the show. On their way back, Mina leaves to find her sister. Seeing her chance, the red-haired Bonnie sneaks up and hugs our boy from behind, freezing him in place. Staring at Bonnie's beautiful face so close to his, our boy blushes furiously. Without beating around the bush, she uses her charm to beg him for a Phantom Fusion upgrade. Bonnie patiently explains how incredibly difficult it is for Phantoms to rank up, showing off her little wizard hat phantom. Unable to resist her relentless sweet-talking, our guy finally caves. To keep it a secret, they decide to do it in Boney's room. But as soon as the fusion begins, the slime turns into thick green vines, aggressively wrapping around both of them. Just as luck, Mina returns to the dorm early, wondering where they went. Meanwhile, in the room, Boney shushes our boy as the intense fusion process covers them in weird slime. As the Phantom's powers merge, the deep spiritual link makes Boney let out some highly questionable moans. Hearing this, our boy finally realizes why Mina reacted so weirdly after her fusion. Completely engulfed in green slime, our guy's face contorts in absolute despair. But before he can even struggle, the door opens, revealing a completely dark-faced Mina. Another beating is definitely incoming. The fusion was successful, but Mina walked in exactly at the worst possible time. Seeing them covered in slime in such a compromising position, she instantly snaps and goes into full demon mode. Refusing to listen to any excuses, a furious Mina ties our boy up for a brutal interrogation. Poor Aaron is tortured mercilessly, while Bonnie watches helplessly from the sidelines. While our guy is suffering, Hannah holds a highly classified meeting with another instructor. It turns out the energy signature of Aaron's slime perfectly matches the rogue monster that caused a global disaster 5 years ago. The instructors realize the terrifying danger, but they also know Aaron might be the world's only hope to evolve this power. Meanwhile, back in the dorm, our boy has literally been beaten to a pulp by Mina. Later, the true scope of their world is revealed to Aaron. He learns that tamers aren't just monster trainers. They are a secret military force dedicated to neutralizing world-class threats. For their next phase of training, Aaron and Mina are summoned to Hannah's massive library office. Standing before their intimidating instructor's overwhelming aura, both of them instantly swallow hard. To test the absolute limits of their soul link, Hannah strictly orders them to perform another phantom fusion right there on the spot. Faced with this outrageous demand, the two of them blush deeply and freeze in absolute horror. Meanwhile, to test the slime's limits, Hannah ruthlessly forces our boy to fuse with every first-rank monster. The severe energy drain leaves him completely exhausted, collapsing and begging for mercy. But this is just a warm-up. As Hannah brings in terrifying higher-ranked monsters, even the usually aloof Mina winces seeing our guy crushed and struggling in pure agony. After the torturous training, our boy completely passes out. The tough but caring Mina can only sigh, reluctantly carrying his heavy body back to the dorms, while grumbling the entire way. Soon after, a leaked report sends the academy into a frenzy. With the duo tournament approaching, our boy's overpowered ability to fuse and boost any partner's strength is totally exposed. To secure this ultimate buff, Mina quickly ties our guy to a chair to force a team-up. Just as they shake hands, Hannah's terrifyingly ominous smile appears, scaring him half to death. Back on campus, our boy feels countless eyes on him. He's instantly dumbfounded by a massive pile of team-up love letters from the girls. The real battle has just surfaced. The moment our boy stepped into the school, he was hit with an unprecedented wave of fanatical attention. Facing the girls' crazy advances and a desk full of love letters, he was instantly sweating bullets. Unable to handle the fierce enthusiasm of his female classmates, he was luckily saved by Hannah stepping up to the podium. To prepare for the upcoming tournament, she sternly announced that all academic classes would be replaced entirely with hardcore combat training. On top of that, seeing our boy's weak physique, Hannah mercilessly gave him some special treatment, punishing him with a timed 4-kilometer run. Hearing this sudden hellish start, our guy broke into a cold sweat. After barely surviving the grueling run under the scorching sun, our boy collapsed on the ground like a puddle of mud. But that was just the warm-up, as Hannah quickly summoned a highly agile Tier 1 beast for a real combat assessment. After a short rest, the sparring officially began. Facing the jumping little monster, our boy decisively ordered his slime to attack, but he didn't expect the opponent to be so evasive, dodging every strike midair with ease. Seeing that he couldn't even touch the lowest tier beast, our cornered boy forced himself to calm down. Spurred by Hannah's harsh words, an idea flashed through his mind, and he decided to unleash his slime's unique hidden talent. The slime instantly split into countless independent parts, leaving all the onlookers absolutely dumbfounded. With a swarm of divided slimes flanking the target, our guy finally launched his desperate counterattack. But will it be enough to catch that agile creature? Drained of his last drop of mental energy, our boy completely passes out on the training ground, leaving the spectators in utter shock. He wakes up tied to an operating table. Just as the crazy school doctor prepares to dissect him, our Tsundere girl bursts in and saves him from the scalpel. Though he survived, his extremely low mental energy pushes Hana to her limit. To force a breakthrough, she immediately initiates the cruel Plan B hellish training. Under Plan B, our guy is forced to memorize massive amounts of data across dozens of screens. Even a second of distraction earns him a ruthless high-voltage shock from a tentacle beast. Shocked almost out of his soul, our boy seizes a brief moment when the teacher looks away. Driven by pure survival instinct, he crawls out of that nightmare room. Finally out, the trauma of the brutal training leaves him paranoid. Every shadow feels like a monster, forcing him to keep running in absolute panic. Dashing blindly, our guy locks himself inside what seems to be an empty washroom stall. He sighs in relief, completely unaware of the eerie eyes staring right at him. Unable to handle the hellish training, our boy ducks into a restroom stall. Panic sets in when he realizes he stumbled into the girl's room, right next to a very timid Ella. Before they can process the awkwardness, jealous bullies block the door. They hurl vicious insults and threats, leaving poor Ella trembling in tears on the toilet. Getting no response, the bullies grow bolder and start violently kicking the door. Hiding in the dark, our boy is sweating bullets, terrified of being caught. Trapped in the tiny stall, the two can only hold their breath side by side, creating a highly awkward vibe. Meanwhile, the bullies outside show no signs of stopping. Seeing them about to dump water on Ella, our boy secretly summons his slime to smash the floorboards, creating a terrifying blast that immediately scares the bullies away. The sudden earth-shattering noise doesn't just chase away the bullies, it attracts Hana. Hearing her furious roar outside, our guy knows he's absolutely doomed. As the stall collapses, Hana kicks the door open. She is instantly stunned to find our soaking wet boy and a highly embarrassed Ella sitting together in the wreckage. Desperate to clear the misunderstanding, our guy frantically explains the bullying incident. Hearing how Ella was tormented, Hana's usual strictness turns into furious, protective rage. With overwhelming presence, Hana officially takes Ella under her wing, vowing to utterly humiliate those arrogant bullies in the upcoming academy tournament. He might have played the hero, but his punishment remains. Before long, our boy is tied to the chair again, and this time, the one holding the shock remote is the innocently strict Ella. Seeing Ella pull out a knife and a so-called portable urinal, our boy strapped to the chair completely panics. Before he can even beg to handle it himself, the strict girl ignores him and directly triggers the shock. The intense voltage practically fries our boy, leaving him foaming at the mouth. When Miss Hana arrives to check the commotion, the clueless Ella innocently claims she was just following the manual. To show our boy the true power of a tamer, the seemingly delicate Ella focuses her energy. With a blinding flash of magic, she effortlessly summons two beasts at the exact same time. Our boy is completely amazed by the lively little monsters. Meanwhile, Hana watches closely, sharply deducing that his lack of mental strain when contracting his slime hides a massive secret. Determined to squeeze every drop of potential out of him, a hint of madness flashes in Hana's eyes. She activates her device, secretly deciding to trigger a much more brutal backup training plan. After 3 whole days of inhuman torture, our boy's mental power finally reaches 52 points, but hits a bottleneck. Since he now meets the minimum requirement, Hana decides to halt the session. Before he can even catch his breath, Hana drops a bombshell. She's taking him out of the academy to an extremely dangerous Class A nature reserve to capture his second beast. Early the next morning, Hana drives our boy, Mina, and Ella out on a road trip. After 4 hours of bumpy roads, the van finally leaves the city behind and enters the desolate wilderness. As the van slowly comes to a stop, a colossal stone wall separating the danger zone looms before them. Staring up at the gate to the unknown, a thrilling survival adventure is just beginning. Our boys' group finally arrives at the monster zone entrance. One look at the terrifying wild beast on the tablet, and he's already sweating bullets. Before he can even process the fear, Hana drops a bombshell. As a high-ranking tamer, she must stay outside to avoid causing a monster stampede. Following the plan, the girls secretly slip away, leaving our guy completely alone in the dangerous wild. Watching from the shadows, the teacher knows just how helpless he is. Sure enough, the moment he's alone, bizarre monsters start targeting him. After a tentacle facehugger attack, a furry beast jump scares him, sending him crawling in panic. Watching him scramble and crawl through the dirt, some of the girls hiding nearby feel bad for him, while others are thoroughly entertained by the show. Panicking, our boy tries to light a signal fire, but the thick smoke backfires, attracting even more monsters. After taking a flying kick, he's surrounded and completely loses hope. Just when the teacher thinks he's broken, the vibe completely shifts. Relying on his survival game skills, our boy builds a perfect fenced shelter with a food supply. He's making himself right at home. Recalling the communication card a girl slipped him earlier, he makes his choice. Rather than risking his life outside, he decides to just hide in his cozy new base and wait for rescue. But Hannah won't let him slack off. To force out his potential, she drives a massive monster stampede right toward his camp. Seeing the incoming horde, our boy runs for his life. The real hellish training begins now. Just when our boy thought he could chill, the teacher secretly sent high-tier monsters after him, forcing him to sprint for his life with his slime. Back to the edge of a cliff, our guy made a crazy move. Using his slime as an airbag, he leaped straight into the abyss without hesitation. The observing girls panicked, knowing the bottom was a high-tier danger zone. Sure enough, right after landing, our boy came face to face with eerie, red glowing skeleton tentacles. Faced with these massive, twisted abominations, our unarmed hero had absolutely nowhere to run. It looked like he was about to become monster food. Just in the nick of time, a lightning strike blasted the beasts away. Realizing the training went too far, Hannah arrived like a savior to protect our boy. Summoning her mighty thunder dragon, Hannah unleashed a massive lightning barrage to clear the area. But before they could celebrate, the destroyed monsters bizarrely began to resurrect. These mutated freaks were completely immune to the lightning's paralysis. Multiplying rapidly, they grabbed our screaming boy with their tentacles once again. Hannah swiftly sliced through the tentacles to free him. She immediately pulled out a physical sealing card, attempting to forcibly capture the disgusting lead monster. To her horror, the normally foolproof sealing card had absolutely no effect. With endless bizarre monsters pouring out of the abyss, the true nightmare has just begun. Looking at the uninjured monster army, Hannah is horrified. These bizarre mutants are completely immune to lightning paralysis, leaving our boy terrified inside his shield. To make matters worse, a swarm of flying monsters suddenly fills the sky. With her energy completely depleted, Hannah can only watch helplessly as our boy gets struck and falls from midair. Desperate to save her student, Hannah launches a reckless assault. But facing the endless tide of monsters, her efforts are in vain, leaving our boy running for his life. Amidst his heart-wrenching cries, our boy is instantly swallowed by the terrifying monster horde. Just as Hannah falls into complete despair, a blinding green energy suddenly erupts from the abyss. Let's rewind a second. Swallowed by the monsters, our boy feels his consciousness plunging into endless darkness. A cold voice echoes in his mind. Yes, you are dead. Right at the brink of death, a heavily muscled man appears before him. Claiming to be his survival instinct, this buff guy grabs our boy by the neck, trying to awaken his last shred of willpower. Are you really going to die like this? Think about the unfinished games and all the beautiful girls. Under the crazy stimulation of these worldly desires, our boy's DNA is finally awakened. Back to reality. Fueled by an explosive will to live, a devastating green energy erupts. The massive shockwave instantly blasts the surrounding monsters into dust, completely turning the tide of battle. As the light fades, a figure fully covered in green slime descends like a demon god. Hannah is absolutely stunned. Our boy has miraculously achieved perfect fusion with his beast right at death's door.